Imagine you are alone, not alone in a room, not alone in a city, alone in the way that only space can make you feel, where the nearest living thing is millions of kilometers away, where sound doesn't exist, where your body would boil and freeze at the same time in under 60 seconds. Now imagine that in all of that emptiness, that vast, silent, dead nothing, something moves. Not a star, not a planet, not anything in our catalogs, something that wasn't there before, something that has no name, something that NASA's most powerful telescopes just locked onto at the edge of our solar system. And it is getting closer. From Earth, space looks safe. You step outside on a clear night, tilt your head back, and what you see is almost peaceful. Stars scattered like dust across a black ocean, the moon hanging low and silver. The silence feels gentle, almost warm. We have looked at that sky for thousands of years and told ourselves stories. We named the stars after gods and animals. We traced patterns in them. We made them feel familiar. But something is wrong. Because right now, beyond the orbit of Pluto, in the frozen outer dark where no probe has ever reached in time, there is an object moving through space in a way that should not be possible. NASA's instruments have confirmed it. The signal is real. The trajectory is real. And the closer the data gets analyzed, the more unsettling the picture becomes. This is not a drill. This is not a theory. Something is out there, and it is moving toward us. But here's the problem. The object sits approximately 47 astronomical units from the Sun. 1 astronomical unit is the distance from the Earth to the Sun, about 150 million kilometers. So 47 AU sounds enormous, and in human terms it is. It would take every car ever manufactured, lined bumper to bumper, stretched across the solar system just to reach it. But in cosmic terms, 47 AU is nothing. It is just outside your front door. Pluto orbits at roughly 40 AU. The Voyager 1 probe, the most distant human-made object ever launched, traveling for over 45 years, only just crossed 160 AU. The nearest star is 268,000 AU away. This thing is not in deep space. It is already inside the neighborhood. And here's the part that changes everything. It is moving inward, toward the sun, toward the planets, toward us. When the data first came in, astronomers assumed it was a rogue planet. That is the simplest explanation. A rogue planet is a world with no star, ejected from its home solar system millions or billions of years ago by gravitational chaos, now drifting alone through interstellar space like a dead frozen ghost. Cold. Airless. Dark. We have found rogue planets before. They follow predictable paths. They obey gravity. They move through space the way physics says they should. This object is not doing that. But it gets worse. The trajectory is shifting. Not because of a nearby star pulling at it. Scientists ran the models, ruled that out immediately. Not because of Jupiter's gravity. Not because of any planetary interaction we can account for. The velocity curve is changing in a way that has no clean natural explanation. In academic papers, this is described carefully as non-Keplerian motion. What that means in plain language is terrifying. This object is moving in a way that breaks the rules. It is accelerating when it should be coasting. It is bending its own path when nothing should be bending it. Every model we apply, every equation that has worked perfectly for every other object we have ever tracked, fails when we apply it to this. Physics does not lie, which means either our physics is wrong or something else is responsible for the motion. Neither answer is comfortable. And this is where things change. Let's say for a moment it is natural. Let's say it is some exotic body we haven't classified yet, a fragment of a destroyed star system, a dark matter-dense object, something generated by a process we haven't theorized. Even then, the consequences for Earth are catastrophic on a long enough timeline. Picture yourself floating in the outer solar system. The temperature is 230 degrees below 0 Celsius. Cosmic radiation, gamma rays, X-rays, high-energy particles fired out by dying stars across the galaxy is passing through your body every second, shredding cells, breaking DNA strands, doing damage that no suit and no medicine could stop. There is no up, there is no down, there is no horizon, just black in every direction, forever. That is where this object lives right now. But it is not staying there. As it moves inward, it passes through the Oort Cloud, the vast spherical shell of frozen debris that surrounds our entire solar system like a cocoon. Trillions of objects sit in the Oort Cloud. Comets, ice chunks, ancient rocks the size of cities. They have sat undisturbed for billions of years, held in a delicate gravitational balance. A large enough object passing through that cloud doesn't just move through it, it tears it open. Its gravity grabs objects and flings them, not outward into deep space, but inward, toward the planets, toward Earth. Scientists call this a gravitational cascade. We have evidence it already happened once, roughly 3.9 billion years ago. It is called the Late Heavy Bombardment. For hundreds of millions of years, the inner solar system was struck by an apocalyptic wave of impacts. The moon's surface still carries every scar from that period, craters stacked on craters, basins the size of continents blasted into existence in minutes. Earth experienced the same bombardment. The only reason we cannot see it today is because our planet's geology erased the evidence over billions of years. It ended life before life had a chance to fully begin. It could do it again. But that is not even the worst part. In 2017, something passed through our solar system, an object moving at a trajectory and speed unlike any comet or asteroid we had ever seen. Interstellar in origin. Unusually elongated, shaped more like a cigar than a rock. Scientists named it Oumuamua. It accelerated as it left the solar system in a way that solar radiation pressure alone could not explain. It left before we could do anything about it, before we could launch a probe, before we could get close enough to understand it. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb spent years arguing that Oumuamua's characteristics, the shape, the acceleration, the trajectory, were not consistent with a natural object. His position was not fringe. It was published, peer-reviewed, and debated at the highest levels of planetary science. His conclusion was simple and devastating. Natural processes could not fully account for what we observed. The possibility that it was constructed, that it was artificial, was never ruled out. Oumuamua came and went. We watched it leave and told ourselves it was probably nothing. This new object is not leaving. Current trajectory models show it decelerating, slowing down, not speeding past like Oumuamua did, not swinging around the sun on a hyperbolic exit path. It appears to be reducing velocity, as if it is looking for a stable position, as if it is searching for somewhere to stop. If this object is artificial, and we are not saying it is, but we are saying we cannot rule it out, then someone built it. And if someone built it, someone aimed it. And if someone aimed it at this solar system, at this star, at this small blue planet, broadcasting radio waves and television signals and nuclear test signatures into open space for the past 100 years, then they did not find us by accident. There is no safe scenario. If it is a rogue planet, it destabilizes the outer solar system and begins a cascade that threatens Earth over thousands of years. We cannot stop it. We can only model the damage. If it is an interstellar fragment carrying exotic radiation, it introduces energy signatures into the solar system that we have no framework to measure, no medicine to treat, no infrastructure to survive. And if it is something else, something directed, something aware, something that received our signal and decided to respond not with a radio wave back, but with presence, then every assumption we have built our civilization on is wrong. We assumed the universe was empty. We assumed silence meant safety. We assumed that broadcasting our location into the cosmos for a century was an act of hope, not an act of exposure. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. We are 300,000 years old. Whatever is out there has had 5 billion more years than us to learn, to build, to travel, and to listen. We have been talking for 100 years. We just assumed no one was close enough to hear. Something is close enough now. The silence is over. The object is moving. And for the first time in human history, the question is not whether we are alone. The question is what happens next. And we have never been less prepared for the answer.